All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, coming in with another video. This time on the WTC, or the World Team Championship, that was hosted in the UK, and CocoZula was the one streaming it there, and it was a fantastic stream. I don't know if you got to watch it or not, but I would highly recommend it. If you didn't, we're going to go over the stats, Canadian Bear and I, so that you can kind of look at the different lists, see which ones were doing the best, see which team won, and all that good stuff. Plus, I'll leave in the description down below the link to the WTC for everybody. First, I just want to go over a quick few things. If you haven't already, if you want to head to the Discord here and become a member, this would be great. This is where you can kind of just chat with a whole bunch of other people who play Legion. If you've got stuff like Empire, Rebel, CIS, GAR, or Shadow Collective, questions that you've got, or lists that you are thinking about doing, and you need recommendations, feel free to post. Come on over here and get some ideas. If you want, you can head on over to ComScan, and the link will be in the description down below for some amazing order tokens. These are the best order tokens in the entire galaxy. They are heavy duty. They've got the best high quality graphic designs on them, and they're just high quality in general. They've got some weight to them. And if you want to look like a professional and represent the channel, I recommend getting these order tokens. This guy is amazing, and the customer service is also very amazing. So I highly recommend getting them. You can use the discount code Shadow Scout in all caps when you check out to get an extra 10% off, and you can possibly order some extra ones for the battle forces. And also, if you want to be a subscriber and leave a comment, that'll get you entered in to win a set of these. And also, if you are in the Discord, anytime that you talk, you will level up at some point. And everything from June 1st and on will be for the giveaway for the order tokens. So this is an extra way to get entered in to win those order tokens. All right, guys. So I'll go ahead and get you to the video. All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, coming in with Canadian Bear Graham.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about the World Tournament and how everybody did, and the awesome lists that were played, as well as all the different stats brought to you by Canadian Bear. So I will go ahead and let you take it up, and I'll make sure that we've got everything ready for you.
All right. So yeah, for those who are familiar with it, World Team Championship happened last weekend. There were 28 teams and 112 players altogether. So it's quite the showing. Essentially, how this works, if you're not familiar with it, is this year your team would have 4 members. They were forced to create a list for all 4 factions plus Shadow Collective. But when it came time to actually playing in the tournament, one of those lists ended up being a fake out, and everyone else was then stuck with one of the 4 remaining lists that they played for the entirety of the tournament. Um, Essentially, your team captain would get to hold back 2 lists that they could then pair off against 2 of their opponents or the opposing team's lists, and the opposing team could do the same. Um, so it's like a juggle of, do you want to hold back your weak lists in those matchups, or do you want to put your powerhouses in to try to get more control that way? Overall, uh, it, when you look at the overall set, it's kind of crazy. Because realistically, it was 24 games played per team. Uh, and how I should also mention, cool thing about this, versus like from when I've done the one time I did a team event, was every game for your team for that round was played on the same table. So they had 4 copies of the same table. So there was no like having to take that into account There's just everyone gets the same uh, buff or boon or curse, I guess. um, the kind of crazy, at least for me, kind of crazy thing was their the top amount of kill points was just shy of 4,600 kill points in a matter of 6 games, and that was done by Andreas from uh, I don't know how to pronounce the rest of the name, but it's one of the German teams. Um, he was doing a what was on
CIS.
Andreas was doing a CIS list, which was it? That was uh, Grievous with strict orders, up close and personal E-stims, Kalani with improv, 3 B1s with E5Ss, 2 Magnas with the extra Magna, 1 had impact grenades, 2 Droidicas, a Crab Droid with engagement protocols and heavy laser cannon, and 2 Aqua Droids with the heavy and link targeting array. So I don't know how you feel about that list. The fact that it could do that much seems a little crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of armor slash, you know,
Hmm.
you have to get through a lot just to get to hit any or do any wounds. I mean, you've got armor, what, 3 or 2 on the Aquas? You've got armor 2 or so on the
The
Crab
crab.
Droid. The Droidicas
Yep.
have 4 shields. The Magna
Yep.
Guards are all red saves with possible dodge from the retinue, and that's not
Hmm.
even and maybe Kalani's giving them a dodge, and then you've got the
Yeah,
B1s that are
exactly.
just an insane amount of bodies, and then Grievous. I mean, who do you go
Mm.
after at that point? I'm not sure
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah. I feel like my first goal would be try to get the Aquas down to like 2 models if I can, and then I can worry about the other stuff because then they can't hide as easily. Um, I'm not sure what would you do in that case for that list.
See, I'm not sure. I feel like I would have to go. You can't go after Grievous because of Guardian, so now you're kind of
Hmm.
out with that. Yeah, I guess you could kind of uh, get rid of the dodges on the Magnus and try to go after some Magnus and go after the melee threats. Because I mean, I guess at longer range, yeah, I guess the Aqua Surge to hit.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know. The Aquas would be easy with impact. The Crab Droid, there's only 1 of them, but it does have a
Hmm.
pierce in its melee. So
Hmm.
it's the pierce that I'm most afraid of, and I feel like Dooku and the crab droids are going to be the hardest. Droidicas, I mean, yeah, they're white saves, but those shields are insane. Unless you've got 3 sleeper cells or 2 sleeper cells, or maybe just in a massive amount of dice pools. I don't think you're gonna
Hmm.
do much to in a fast enough like time frame. Like
Yeah.
after round 1, eh, if you're not doing enough damage per round, the everything's against you.
Fair. Uh, and to kind of emphasize that there were only 4 lists that got over 4,000 kill points, one of which we're going to be talking about later, um, which is still even crazier. um, then we've got like the most VPs, which went to Toby from Wales, uh, Wales Team 2. He scored 79 victory points, which, if I remember correctly, was 1 more than the next, which was Jeff from the overall winning team. I think he had 78. Um, yeah. And then we've got was it? Overall, there were 11 teams from countries represented. There were a couple expats that were on different teams, so you could say there's even more countries represented. But there was 4 from England, 3 from the U.S., 3 from Sweden, 3 from Switzerland, 2 from Germany, 3 from France, 3 from Wales, 2 from Poland, 2 from the Netherlands, 1 from Scotland, and 2 from Denmark. So overall, pretty nice showing. There was, like I said, like there was 112 individual players. Um, these, after like looking through some of these, you're noticing that some of them don't exactly line up with the faction icon. So forgive me if the numbers aren't actually 100% on this, but there should have been roughly 28 CIS lists, 27 Rebel lists, 26 GAR lists. Empire had 20, and Shadow Collective had 12, which all in all, that's pretty good for Shadow Collective, just for like the amount of lists that were there. Um, yeah. There's something.
No, I'm glad to see some Shadow Collective at least. I know that the top Shadow Collective list, I wanted to pull up just because you're not seeing a lot of Shadow Collective at the moment, and because it's a battle force on a faction, and so yeah, you're probably not going to see them all the time. But with the fact that they had their own box, I'm sure it got a lot of people into the game. So I would assume to see a lot of it at different tournaments. But what kind of got to me is it's almost Lila's old list from when she got second at Worlds, and it had like 6 Black Sun with the scattergun and the Black Sun Vigo, and then it had 3 swoop bikes and 2 AA5s. With one had the raiding party leader, and then they both had the quad gun and astromech, and one had an HQ uplink. So 11 activations, which is great. And then the Black Sun Enforcers have a ton to offer. And I might have to go back and check to see, how that person did with all his games. But other than that, I feel like, let's see, didn't do that one, didn't do too well. He at least won the 1, the 2, 1, the 3, and 1 4. 1 4 out of a 6, so that's not too bad. Still came in about 28th, but, I think overall it has a lot to offer. Shadow Collective still has a lot that it can do. It's just CIS and Rebels are really killing it with the fact that you had 4 Rebel lists in the top 8. So half of the top 8 were Rebels, and then 3 of them were CIS, and then you had 1 Republic, and Empire doesn't make it onto the scene until number 15. And even with that one, that list had Iden and Darth Vader, which I can't tell you how much I love Iden, and then Dewbacks. But I feel like that trope is getting to be the only thing that Empire has to offer are the Dewbacks and Vader, with a little bit of long range with Iden and snowtroopers with the ion gun. That seems to be the biggest saving grace for Empire right now. So hopefully we'll see something soon with Empire. If I knew, or I told you exactly what I would bring up for for this, the bane of my existence. Rebel sleeper cells in the top in the top 8, all 4 of them had a minimum of 2 sleeper cells, with some of them having 3 sleeper cells. And it seems if Rebels didn't have them, if sleeper cells either weren't a thing or maybe a little bit too expensive, Rebels, I don't know how well they would be doing. So I don't know if that's a good thing, because to me it's not like Commandos. Commandos were a great supplement. They're a great support unit, and they went up fairly quickly. I know that these will go up for sure at some point in the future, hopefully near future, but we'll see them go up. But it's just like, you see, Republic can survive without them. Rebels, they can't seem to survive without. if they're going to make it an actual competitive list. Because even if we look at ninth place, that one didn't have any sleeper cells because I think that one was it was a Ewok specific list. So
yeah, that's Antoine. Yep.
yeah,
The one that made Ewoks famous.
yeah. So hey, it's a really good list with Wicket and Logray and Chewbacca and Leia and Han and C3. It's like
Yeah.
literally everyone that was in the movie, like probably the most thematic list that's in like a top 10. But yeah, to me, I think sleeper cells not only need to come down, but Rebels need to find something else that gives them an edge.
Yes.
And Empire needs to actually they just need to get on the ball with Empire. CAS seems to be doing really well. I don't know what the secret sauce was with CIS. Lila had I think did we talk about Lila yet?
We have not. So
I'll wait
um,
to show that list then after we keep going. Sorry for my tangent.
you're good.
Again, sleeper cells are just I hate sleeper cells so much.
That's okay. My Wookiees feel the same way about arcs.
Yeah, and the fact that Wookiees are more expensive than sleeper cells is insane to me. And sleeper cells at the max are about 75. Well, sorry, not max, but like with an astromech, it's 75. If you just put targeting scopes or something on the Wookiees, they're even more expensive than
Yep.
than that. So either Wookiees need help and or the sleeper cells need to be way more expensive. I think we were talking Astromech 8 points seems realistic, and then maybe a minimum of 5-point increase to the base stat would be good.
Maybe. I don't know about that because realistically, if we're trying to say that, was it 12 dice with weight surging saves at 70 points versus 8 non-surging or 8 attack dice or black attack dice on red saves non-surging is 64 points. I don't know if that's really like one is more likely to be one shot than the other just because of the amount of like actual models in the unit, but I don't know if they're really gonna ever up the points on them. But
I doubt it,
I hope they, yeah.
but I had mentioned this to you earlier, and I don't know if everybody
Yeah.
knows, but it was brought to my attention that at least on the card for sleeper cells, for the astromech, it just says when this unit, I guess, doesn't make a move action. It's just when it moves. So, and I'll get specific with that because if a sleeper cell disembarks at range 1 of a POI, it gets a dodge. If it's force pushed at range 1 of a POI, it gets a dodge. And that's because the astromech specifically just says when this unit ends a move at range 1, within range 1. So if it's a move, force push, disembark, normal move, whatever it is, it gets a dodge. And then with nimble, it's keeping it. So even if you were to try to melee it the amount of dodges they're still generating with nimble with that astromech is just insane. So that's why I think at least that needs to go up for sure. But yeah, 12 dice surging to hit with tactical, it's a lot.
Yeah. I think I would rather just see the 3 points on the astromech and then everything else be more attractive. Because there were some from listening to the That's Not Moon podcast, since one of the mains there, Andy, is the person that was running or the head judge for the World Team Championships. They were talking about there were several lists for Rebels that were kind of what's the word, abusing the the Jin and Caspian paired up with Mandos in the same list. So 2 turns of Danger Sense surging red saves.
Oh my god.
So eh. There are other options, but I think overall they just need to make them more attractive and than the base sleeper cell. Um, and that's kind of the same thing. You could really say for like a lot of factions, like what are you taking in support for CIS besides Droidicas, unless you have a specific plan because they're just too cheap. Same with Arcs and Gar. It's like why would you take anything else?
Right?
Uh,
And crab droids though are very appealing, especially with Grievous and Dooku.
yes,
You know, trying to get
yes.
them farther up the board. I had my
Mhm.
Maul one-shotted by Dooku because I had just rolled all blanks
Uh,
um, at the beginning of turn 2, like the first activation of turn 2. So that scouting party
uh,
can really do some amazing work. I guess it just kind of depends on what
mhm.
you're trying.
Yeah. I guess we can kind of say who we should probably say who actually won the whole event too before we continue on with the factions there.
Sure, yeah.
Uh, so since there were still that many teams, we can just do like a top 8 for number of teams. So we got England All Stars, which you know coming in first, you kind of imagine it's going to be stacked, and they didn't hold back with it. Uh, it's Dave Grant, Lila, Claire, Jeff Porritt, Ali Daya. So you've got a previous world champ and a runner-up and 2 also very well-known English players. So in second, you've got USA Red. I believe that's Team One for the US. Where you've got uh, Mowgli, Isaiah, Wes Wagner, and Poison Dart
Austin. Yeah,
or
Austin.
Austin, um, which is again very well known names. The latest world champion, and later on we could probably talk about the insanity that was Mowgli and Ollie's game.
Yes, please. That would be a good one.
uh, Switzerland Team One came in at third. Um, I'm not too familiar, which that was kind of like one nice thing is like there's a lot of countries that I don't know for um, their Legion scenes and how well they did. Like Germany, we know does well. France, we know does well, but I'm not too familiar with the Swiss um, or the Swedish teams or players, and two of the top 8 were from Switzerland. Eighth was Sweden, Team One, which they had a funny kind of naming convention for their teams. Like Sweden One is Swede One. What was it? Their team two was like Swe 2D2, I think is what it was.
What?
Uh, yeah, they had some nice little nicknames for their teams. But or yeah, and their team 3 was Sweet 3PO.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
um but yeah, no, there's um lots of good players. US Team 2 is also in the top 8 with Brian Bear, Luke Cook, the original world champion, Delta Dave or David Johnson, and Joe Hicks. Um, Also, like some very well known players. Germany had uh, Finn and Andreas that we already talked about. Uh, Richard and I'm gonna butcher this. Reikenry.
Rick
I don't,
Henry? Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah. um, and then uh, France, like we already talked about, had Antoine in their top team, which had popularized the Ewoks. Uh, yeah, and so there's a lot of names when you have to go through this many. So, but we can include the link to the Longshanks also, so you guys can look up all the lists and all the players. Also, shout out to Kokazula for getting to stream the whole event. So definitely go check out the streams on his channel.
Definitely.
Um, yeah, so it's the top for each faction then. I should say is Lila Claire was first overall for individual players and was the top CIS player. Uh, Jockey 01 from Sweden was the top Rebel player, actually. Uh, Individual player, he placed second overall. Ali Daya with that crazy 6-act Gar list was third and the top Gar player. Roman from France was the top Empire player at 15th, and Kuhlman, I'm gonna guess, or Morton Kuhlman, I'm gonna guess is how that's pronounced, but that's probably wrong. Was 28th with Shadow Collective, like we had mentioned before. Um, so yeah, did you want to look at Lila's list first?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. Do you want to read off this one, or do you want me to?
Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay.
So she had Kalani Super Tac Droid with Lead by Example, Improvised, and HQ Uplink. She had two B1 battle droids with portable scanners. She had a Naked B2. She had two BX series commandos with the droid sniper, offensive push, vibro swords, and impact grenades. Three droidicas and two persuader tanks, uh, with both of them having defense protocols, link targeting array, armor piercing, and high energy shells. And this the
It was an
experimental droids?
experimental list.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the snipers with that surge makes it really good.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No. So that's.
It's
No, she's done a lot with them, with invasion or not invasion, experimental droids. So that just is that's terrifying. Just the combination of her and experimental droids.
yeah. Because I mean, I feel like that's one of the better CIS lists in general.
Mm-hmm.
Is like the experimental droids because they have so much to offer in its
Yeah.
versatility. So yeah, if you're
I
not
think she
bringing,
was saying that 3 of her games were against Dooku Aquas. um,
I mean, why not take them if you're just not taking
yeah,
CIS experimental droids?
yeah, um, yeah. No, it was. I think she said her hardest game was her last game, which was like, what was it? Believe. Uh, was
Matt
by
Gwynn.
another. Yeah. Oh yeah, Matt Gwynn. Which was another like Dooku or Aqua list, but I think that one had T series B2s, so the surging had 2 wound B2s.
Yes. Yeah, two B2s with the ACM and T series droid.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay. I
But
mean, and that one was what 2, 4, 6, 8, 13, 12. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. No, That's still
11.
just
Sorry.
yikes.
Yeah. No, 11 activations with Dooku and Aquas. That is a lot to have to deal with.
hmm Yeah. Um, and then Jockey's list, I can go ahead and I'll pull that one up.
Sure.
Yeah. So this was Lando with offensive push, Leia with improv and vigilance, Jin with E gear, Bad Batch with Omega, a fleet with scattergun, two SX-21 and Captain Rebel Troopers, a naked Ewok slinger, two sleepers with the astromech situational and prepared supplies, and three ATRTs with laser cannons.
Oh, wow. Even more dodges on the sleeper cells.
Yeah. I'm surprised they or he used up that many points on situational awareness. I wonder if he gets like a lot of like critical weapons in his local, so that's why.
Yeah, maybe.
Uh, Although I'm not, maybe the only other thing I could think of is putting like tenacity on Jin or something like that.
Yeah, because what that
Otherwise, I don't know. What,
it's a
yeah.
total of 8 points with
hmm
of the situational awareness, and I
hmm
guess he's at 999, so you'd have 9 points left. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess tenacity on her. I mean, even if I guess environmental gear is good because you want to make sure you're doing really well. I guess you could have put an extra guy on the fleet troopers to give them one extra little body.
Yeah.
I wonder what his reasoning behind the captains on the rebel troopers were. I mean, maybe not to be suppressed, but
I think
um,
that that's gotta be it, especially with the Essex. Like they've got the range 2 gun, so making sure they can get in there, I guess.
yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can imagine because
Yeah.
uh, it's not that bad. But I feel like if you had that many points left over, you probably could have put another lead by example on
Mhm.
Lando, unless he doesn't have something, or you could have put it on Jin. I think what do any of them have a so Lando does have a
They both
command
do.
slot. Yeah, okay. So yeah,
Yeah, so does Jin.
you could have put a lead by example on there to get that
Yeah.
extra courage up and save more points, especially by you know you know you would have been able to not have to have the captains and just put a normal body on there, or
Mhm.
you have an ATRT, you probably could have put an astromech or something on there as well. Depends, I guess, on
Yeah.
what the strategy is.
And I'm trying to remember what's the other command upgrade that lets you extend your courage bubble to range 4.
That one would be the inspiring presence.
That's it. You could also throw that on Jin for a courage 3 bubble.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I mean overall still very solid. Obviously, he also went 6-0 along with Lila.
man.
uh, so yeah, no, I would not. I'm sure there are many shenanigans that you can do with the new Lando, Jin, and just pairing that up with Bad Batch alone. Forget everything else, just those three together.
Yeah, all the free moves with
hmm
the one step ahead. That is
Yep.
that kind of plagued me in one of my games, in I think the league, with Jin being able to do so many extra moves and just kind of not only bait you, but just kind of like do what she needs to do. And I think we even saw in the tournament that Coco was streaming that Jin kind of messed with Ollie by
Okay.
independent moving I think someone had played. I think Mowgli. Yeah, Mowgli was playing Jin, so he
Yes.
used a one pip and then moved in there and cohered the leader away from the POI, and then it has disengage, and then move out into another unit and move that unit leader away from a POI, and then stuck there. And then I guess she's got that. If before somebody rallies, you can do another move and charge. So Jin,
That's gross.
yeah, and I
That's
can
obnoxious.
yes, and I can only imagine it paired with Lando giving her that extra free 6 inches to move forward to get into that position at some point. Um, yeah.
All right. Well, um, speaking of um, Mowgli's game against Ollie, we've got Ollie's Garlus, which is slightly different. It's like 2 upgrades different from the last time this list popped up. Do you want to go over it this time?
Sure, yeah. So he's got Captain Rex with improvised orders. He's got Anakin with burst of speed, force push, tenacity, and into the fray. You've got the Bad Batch. You've got a clone trooper infantry squad with Ahsoka, the shotgun DP-23, a clone trooper infantry squad, so the extra 5 guys, into the fray, environmental gear, and impact grenades. And then you've got another clone infantry with 5s, the DP-23 shotgun, the clone trooper infantry squad, and environmental gear. And then your third core with a clone captain, the shotgun, and this whole squad. So 6 activations and a really good list of token generation and lots of stuff to do with the command cards, improvised orders. Rex being a very support-oriented unit rather than an attack unit to generate those aims and dodges from double moving, scout, move, or scout, move, dodge. So that's 2 aims and a dodge, and then other times just double moving to generate 2 aims. And if you gave an order to the clone captain, that's already a dodge. Ahsoka then gets a dodge from independent. You have into the fray if someone activates within that range 1, which she could eventually use, even though I think she's got critical 1 or critical 2 naturally on her upgrade.
Yeah, critical 1.
And I think he had accidentally forgotten that at one point and used just 2 surge tokens. But
yeah. He was playing on hard mode.
yeah, and still came out on top. But yeah.
It's worth noting too, his worst dice pool in this for like an attack, you could say, is either going to be Rex if he only has 1 target, which is 3 red, or if he has 2, it's 3 or 2 different attacks with 3 red dice, or you could say it's an unwounded Anakin with only 5 red dice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if he's wounded and Rex has 2 options to attack, his lowest attack pool effectively is 6 red. That surges to crit.
And then you still get 2 attack actions with Anakin at least on multiple rounds if they're. I think they joked like
Probably
Tempted.
just the one.
Tempted's never really ever going to be triggered, but at least with his 1 pip being able to attack twice, I think that actually saved him in the middle against that many acts, because we'll talk about Mowgli's list in a second. But if you're not, I think, because I asked Coco to ask him, like, if you're ever up against a list with more than like 13 activations, if like the clock is running, if you're not the first round taking out a unit or 2, second round taking out 2, maybe 3 units, and those cover saves and saves are just hitting, time's running out, and you're just unable to take anything away from your opponent, I feel like it just stacks and stacks up against you exponentially. But I guess with just that many dice being thrown at a time, it's getting some pass cover, at least enough pass cover to take out what it needs to, especially if you can one-shot an ATRT.
Yeah. Because what is it? I think he was also saying that in his first 3 games, he lost a total of 5 activations. Like,
Lost.
so day one, he total of 5 activations the entire day one.
So like he only had
He
one
lost like
activation left.
no, so he lost 1 activation in game one. He lost
Oh,
3 in game two, and 1 in game three. That's it. I'm not sure about day two, but I at least know for day one that's what happened, and that's kind of insane.
so
Um,
I think I remember you definitely had a full squad a long time
mhm.
ago and tried to bring that up, and it with fives, and it did a really good
Yep.
job.
Yep.
And I think we I've had at least a discussion about our squad's worth it. Well, I think we
Mhm.
know the answer now, at least for Republic, anyway.
Mhm.
Um, it's with the token sharing and the amount of stuff that you can do together. I think it makes sense. But do you think we're gonna see more lower activation guard lists because of this, or what?
I mean, I'm not saying that I've definitely been looking at just swapping out Anakin for Yoda, but I might have. um, but yeah, no, it's. I think I think people were too quick to be like, nah, they're too expensive, and in some cases they definitely are. Like looking at you, shore troopers, but um, in other cases, I don't know if I could really say they like. I still don't think that the clone one is. I mean, obviously, with like in this kind of case, like granted, it is still Ollie, but it's. I mean, he over his 6 games scored nice 69 victory points, and he scored 4,300 kill points with his 6 activations. So,
I have one
yeah,
thing
I
to
don't know.
say. Don't AMG, don't you dare touch the points for the squads on Republic. Don't make them the price of shore troopers. Just bring shore troopers down so that
Yeah.
they can have a chance. But Ollie, I hope you did not just ruin the points for the squads.
Uh, yeah. I mean, that was the whole thing, right? That they've talked about wanting Gar to be as like this elite, like low activation thing anyway. So it's like, hey, this is what you wanted.
Exactly. So just keep it how it is. Don't do
Yeah.
anything. Don't mess it up. Let's keep it because it's not. It's you're not going to see this all the time everywhere, and you're not going
No.
to have the best people piloting it like Ollie would. So
Hmm.
it's not like it's going to happen on a scale or on scale, I should say. It's just a player right now. So
Yeah.
we're gonna sweep that under the rug for a little bit. Don't look at it.
Yeah. Um, and then I guess before quickly we go to Mowgli's list, so we can talk about that game and just the ridiculousness of it. We should go over the Empire list since we've already gone over the Shadow Collective list. Um, so the top Empire list was uh, 15th. Roman from France won, and he was Iden with Inspiring Presence and ID10. Vader, Operative Vader with Burst of Speed, Force Push, Into the Fray, and Tenacity. A Naked Storm, 4 Ion Snows, a Scout with an HQ uplink. Interesting. Um, and a Naked Scout, and then 3 Duvaks with Into the Fray and the T-21. Um, actually, the HQ is probably for uh, Iden's 3-pip attack strike.
Yeah, but it does give it out to 2 units. So Iden and 2 units, and she had only two, or Roman only had 2 scouts. So it
It's
would have
probably
gone
so one of the orders can go to Vader.
probably, yeah. Because I was gonna say I'm surprised I don't see an HQ on the dewbacks, especially
Yeah.
for Vader's cards, especially. But yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Vader definitely has to have an order.
Mm-hmm. Uh, then Mowgli. Let's pull up his list. Which, where are you? Yeah, go to the teams. I'll be faster.
That's what I'm doing.
Share. So Mowgli was um,
18
which
activations.
18 activations, which is funny to me because um, he didn't mention me by name, but he mentioned the fact on stream that at Crucible he had played a game against someone where they had more passes than they could actually use. And so that was me. And this was the same case again, because instead of it being 21 versus 9, it's 18 versus 6. Um,
So many.
and yeah. And yeah, because this is Leia with portable scanner and improv now. Wicket with forest dwellers, so the somehow 3-point scout plus dodge. Sure.
Right.
um, Jyn Ursa with inspiring presence, so that courage bubble, and E-gear. 2 rebel veterans with the comms tech and HQ uplink. 4 naked veterans. 6 Mark IIs, and 3 FDs with barrage generators. Now, do you know what the final table state was for this game?
Remind me.
So Ollie had lost, if I remember right, he had lost about 4 models. No units, just models. And apparently, uh, Mowgli was down to a single wound on an FD cannon.
Oh my god. Okay.
And mind you, Mowgli also started with advanced intel, so he started with a pass token too.
I remember that.
Um,
Yes, that was almost
which
insult
is
to
the
injury, but yeah.
funniest. Yes, but it's also hilarious. Like, ha, you don't even get to use this against me, really. um, so yeah, that was that's a thing. to If you haven't watched it, definitely go and watch it. I'm only about like halfway through myself, so I still need to finish it.
Okay.
But just the lethality of that, of all these list versus essentially overwhelming odds.
Yeah. And
Because
it
apparently also the talk of the event was like, oh, 18's got it. Now 6 can go bye bye. 18 wins automatically.
and that's what I thought. I thought the 18 acts was going to totally suppress them out, but then I'm like, "Oh wait, you
Mm-hmm.
have Indomitable on these full guys, and then you've got a Courage 3 bubble with Anakin." And
Yep.
so but it's just like, is Anakin going to be able to do enough? Are the
Mm-hmm.
are the units going to be able to do enough? Is he going to split fire at all? With anything? But um, yeah, no, that
Which
Anakin
also
being
it's
able
worth.
to say what?
Oh no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Anakin just wouldn't die either, and being able to
Mm-hmm.
deal extra wounds with Dim So is
Yeah.
it's a great list, damage
And
output
it's worth
wise.
note. I think outside of Leia, Jin, and Wicket, everything for Mowgli started on the board with prepared positions, and Ollie divulged Anakin's 1 pip so that Anakin got prepared positions, and this seems to be the even more limited than just having Super Squad case of having Garrison in your uh, advantage deck, and he was able to get Garrison and then gave that to the Ahsoka squad. That's now is starting with 2 dodges. So there was what was that? 15 activations on the board before turn 1.
It's like old Legion again.
Yeah, it's like, this looks so familiar.
Yeah. But I was very surprised. This was literally a question I had brought up the day before, wondering if a 6X could ever handle it. Well, I found out it. Yeah, I found out it could, and I saw it unfold before my eyes.
So, and I will say, I was probably one that was more in favor of Ollie just in that scenario. Not because it's Ollie, but just the act disparity. It's like, yes, that seems terrible. And they also did close the pocket, which is funny because that's the same when Mowgli and I had played. That was the second time. Was also close the pocket, and it was not impossible. Even then, when I had the same like act disparity, because I remember that game being pretty close, even though like I definitely made more mistakes and whatnot. But it's I think the strongest thing for that list is just the intimidation factor of like there's so many things, and you have to go about it or against it in a very particular way. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say definitely one of the more exciting, most anticipating games ever.
Yep. And also apparently Mowgli. Oh, that's right. Mowgli played Antoine too. So there was Mowgli's 18 activation list on one side of the board, and Antoine's 15 activation on the other side of the board. And they apparently got the turn 4.
Jeez, okay.
They were booking it to get that game going.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the.
So again, I will hold to my point that activation count does not mean that you're going to play slow.
Which is good to know.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to see that there a specific number of activations is not going to win you anything. We do have our average where everything sits on the bell curve at the top, which is about 11,
yep.
I would say. But I guess 6 and 18 are still viable. 24 is still viable.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen anything less than 6. I'm sure Ollie will push those limits. I'm sure we'll get something. Because I think
I'll be surprised if you can get less than 6.
Well, yeah, because you have to have your 3 core, and then
yeah,
I don't think
I don't know.
We'll make one. I'm sure someone's gonna try to make one, but I don't know.
If it is, it's probably CIS.
Okay.
Because if you double squad the B2s.
Okay. With Dooku and maybe some Aquas or something.
And probably Grievous.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. And I forgot what I was about to mention, but
Okay.
I forgot. Oh well, whatever.
Yeah. But overall, it seemed like a great event. Heard great things. Apparently, Luke Cook, Ollie, and Isaiah got together at karaoke and were singing "We Are the Champions." So that's hilarious. And stuff like that just makes me more excited for the next Legion event.
Yeah. It seems appropriate, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think but overall I think, Legion's in a good spot. I think there's a lot of viable lists, and you're not seeing you're seeing some of the same things right now.
Yeah.
surprisingly, with as many units as we have out. But
Mhm.
it's not too surprising to see a lot of Dooku and stuff, and a lot of sleeper cells and stuff, a lot of Bad Batch, you know. But I like to see the outliers that are all
Mhm.
around.
And honestly, I'd probably expect to see more of the same rather than less of the same coming up,
Hmm.
just because we're starting a new edition and we're getting new players in. But with how I think fairly so they had to go about stocking so they don't screw over stores and whatnot, there's only certain things available in most places.
Hmm.
So I would not be surprised if we just see a lot of copycat lists because that's all that people can buy.
True, true.
So I'd say probably like in a year or so, we're going to see a whole lot of variety.
Yeah, and especially with the customizable stuff coming out, we'll
Oh
definitely
yeah.
see at least a variety because if there's multiple types in the box, you're going to be able
Mm.
to branch out and maybe get characters that aren't as supported in certain factions more support. And so
Hmm.
now we'll be able to create better combinations with those units, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So that should open up a lot more possibility for us all.
No, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to make a 5 activation list, and it's nope. I think 6 is where it's going to be at.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. All right. 2 minute break. Quick.
Right. See, it's like so. I'm trying to do one with Yoda. So if you do Yoda and Chewbacca, Force Push, Barrier, Burst of Speed, Tenacity on Chewie with Cease Initiative and Recon, and then at least so far with the three main clone core, you have Fives, Ahsoka, and Clone Commander for the extra surge. You could do, the extra dodge, give you extra points. I'm just trying to see. So maybe do the Clone Captain, and then with Fives, maybe you do the offensive push for that extra aim just in case, and targeting scopes with Ahsoka. Maybe you do into the fray and maybe environmental gear, or just to get in there, and maybe some extra impact grenades. And then with the clone captain, maybe you've already got situational awareness, so you don't really need that. Up close and personal, I don't think you're going to need because you might be far enough away. I would say maybe targeting scopes again just in case. Uh, Yoda can always give them an extra move. Maybe instead of targeting scopes on these guys, actually, maybe you could do like recon intel. You still have 35 points left that you can use for something, and Bad Batch is 160, so you're 25 points over. So I don't know exactly what you could take off.
Yeah. Um, let's see here. I mean, the most expensive 5 act is that I can think of is Yoda, Anakin, and then the same three. I guess you could throw a couple more upgrades. So like tenacity and recon. Actually, throw impacts on both of these, and then you've got. There you go. That. Oh, well, and throw this on there. There you go. 994. So close.
All right.
um, all right, you know what? No, 996. So I'll throw frags instead of impact. There you go.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So Yoda, as you do with improv, Anakin, as you do, and then every single upgrade slot is filled. Um, I think actually if you put impact on all three of them, or not impact, if you got put impact on Fives and Ahsoka, that would or Frags, you would get that would get you right to 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So no, yeah, it's clones. I was wrong.
Yep. Okay. Now let's just see how this works.
No, that will not be me.
Maybe I'll try it. I think I think a good one with Yoda could do really well because he can still
Hmm.
attack twice all the time. You don't have to have a command
Every
card for
time.
that.
Yep.
And then maybe with Anakin's one pip, you get an extra attack in, and all the other guys they're going to be doing so much. Oh god.
Yeah. I think you're just gonna be missing out on the steady. That's gonna be the one thing.
Mm. You can at least give Yoda Relentless and another unit Relentless with the two pip, at least for a turn.
True. That is true.
And then, other than that, Yoda's probably going to be bursting in fairly quickly when he needs to. Anakin's going to be doing
Hmm.
enough, and they're going to be tied up. Possibly, you probably obviously don't want to go first with Yoda because then they'll just one shot Yoda. 'Cause you don't have Chewie or anything in there, but
Hmm.
yeah. And again, I'm surprised they didn't give Chewie Associate with Yoda, so that you can have.
I just don't know why he's still a commander. uh, but yeah, it's yeah, either or actually. Associate would work too. That'd probably be better.
Yeah, because then
But
he can stick to Commander, especially for the Wookiee Force. Um,
mhm.
but at least Associate would allow him to be in there as a third commander, and it's not like he's overpowered.
Yeah,
He's not
no,
throwing 12 dice or anything. He's only throwing 4 dice
yeah. It's
each
just the
time.
fact that he only ever has one character he can guardian at a time
Mm-hmm.
is annoying. But yeah, yeah, it's a good chat about all this, and look forward to seeing how that 5 act list goes for you now.
Maybe I'll try it at some point. I tried to make a 16
Yeah.
act Empire list to see if that could be viable with Iden and some shore troopers, almost kind of like playing
Mhm.
off of the Empire version of Mowgli's list, uh,
Okay.
but being attack oriented and
Mhm.
having his I forgot exactly what I had on there, but if I just take a quick look, I guess I made it on a video with Iden, but yeah, it's got Iden with well, okay, it doesn't want to load very quickly, but yeah, you have like 6 shore troopers, 6 mortars, you have Inferno Squad, you've got I think Death Troopers with the impact gun, you've got Krennic with lead by example, improvised, and electro binoculars. And then you have Iden with lead by example, on the hunt, environmental gear, and ID10. So that way there's at least a ton of suppression mitigation for the core. And then you have on the hunt and emergency transponders on and special forces. And then Death Troopers have the DLTE offensive push in the config. So 16 activations, 1,000 points, and lots of fun stuff with that one.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah, that standby does a lot on those mortars.
Yeah.
That's a
No, it
ton of
does.
suppression you're handing out.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good tournament. I think maybe we'll. I guess it happens every year, and they do all their applications early on in the
Yeah.
beginning of the year,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. Each year it's in a different location. Last year was in Spain. This year was England. I don't remember where next year's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be announced at some point. Yeah. No. Seems like everyone had a great time.
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, if you haven't watched it, go to Coco Zula's channel and give it a watch. He's actually, I think, broken up the games. You don't have to watch the entire stream the whole time. It's not like you can't fast forward or scroll through or anything. But yeah, he does a great job. He's trying to do more tournaments and stuff and streaming. So if you can support him and trying to maybe help him with the ability to support him on Patreon or Ko-fi or Coffee, however you want to pronounce it, Ko-fi.
Yeah.
But yeah, any ways that you can help him to kind of get more streams in Europe, because I know we see a lot of US streams, especially with David, but it'd be nice to get a little bit more of the European theater, the Eastern theater. I don't know.
Yeah.
From here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Thanks a lot for joining and kind of breaking it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, all right, guys. If you've got questions or anything else, feel free to comment down below. If you've got questions, I'll leave the link for the World Team Championship in the description down below. And all you got to do is when you click that link, you can click the individual stuff at the top, the verses at the top, and kind of see the different games and the pie chart of all the teams that we had mentioned. But yeah, overall, the teams are great, and it was awesome to see everything for the different types of lists. So yeah, check it out, and maybe make a list off of something you've seen. But we will.
You got lots to look at.
Yeah. But we will see you next time. So y'all take it easy and have a great night.
See ya.
See ya.